A storm just hit the internet and Joe Rogan started it. He revealed one line about Erica Kirk that sent every platform into chaos. Was she lying? Was she protecting Charlie? Or was she caught in something darker than anyone suspected? Because according to insiders, this story is about to get much uglier. An unexpected discovery was just exploded by Joe Rogan. This time, however, alien abductions, political struggles, or cultural clash analysis were completely unrelated. Erica, Kirk, Charlie, and a single private chat that went viral, this time were the epicenter of the shockwave. Joe looked to be enjoying himself on the podcast until he accidentally said something. Someone said something so deeply intimate that everyone started to doubt their knowledge of Erica. Joe claims that Erica may have fabricated the tale she told Charlie's parents. The video quickly went viral, appearing on every social media platform imaginable. Chats broke out on Reddit. Team TikTok went into full breakdown mode after investigating the app. A lot of people began going over the scene frame by frame, looking at Joe's face to see whether he was attempting to hide something or if it was just one of those unguarded revelations. His delivery was the last straw that sent everyone into a frenzy. It was everything but casual. It wasn't idle chatter. There was seriousness in its heft. The tale was never supposed to be public in the first place, according to sources close to Joe's group, so the commotion has even infuriated him. The information that Erica allegedly shared with Charlie's parents was intended to remain confidential. Rumor has it that there is a lot more going on behind the scenes, however. Reputations, friendships, and perhaps legal matters might be irreparably damaged if this turned out to be false. The turn of events that has everyone on edge is Erica's utter quiet. Nothing has been posted by her. No denial has been made by her. To this day, the storm remains unaddressed. A lot of people are starting to question if she is really expressing more by being silent than by speaking. However, Joe could not understand a word. I would want to know what Erica informed Charlie's parents. Also, why is everyone so worried that the truth may get out? Nobody ever thought Joe Rogan and Erica Kirk would be in the same headline together until this whole thing went downhill. Joe, the unvarnished podcasting powerhouse. Charlie Kirk, a conservative broadcaster, is married to the charismatic and well-connected Erica. The lives of these two individuals couldn't be more different. Whiskey bottles, strange artwork, and free-spirited discussions about life and freedom around Joe. Picture this. Erica at a networking event, surrounded by carefully selected images of her family, whose focus is on branding. However, for months, something had been subtly progressing behind that brilliant division. A single miscommunication, or discussion, depending on your perspective, was the spark that ignited the whole affair. Conservatives' pressure on Erica and Charlie has been building. Chimes in about domestic conflicts, noises emanating from disputes about corporate choices. Furthermore, there were whispers that someone close to them had been inadvertently disclosing confidential material to the media. It was stated that Erica, who was renowned for jealously protecting Charlie's reputation, had asked for assistance. Meanwhile, a verified insider's now deleted tweet claims that Joe Rogan was the person she contacted. No one believed it at first. I don't understand why, out of everyone, Erica Kirk would contact Joe. The internet, however, began to fill in the gaps and make connections. An odd episode of Joe's program in which he alluded to a conservative power couple's private struggles aired a few weeks before to his slip. Fans now think he was obviously referring to the Kirks, even though he didn't use their names. Joe brought up the topic of those who are so good at lying that they fail to remember who they lied to in the same show. It seems almost prescient now that I think about it in light of his recent statements. Erica, Charlie, and Charlie's parents had been getting more tense behind the scenes. Charlie co-founded Turning Point USA, and rumor has it that he and his family are at odds over its future. Supposedly, it's when Erica said something that sent them on a course correction. When it came to money, his parents desired greater openness and transparency, while Erica wanted complete secrecy. Something powerful enough to put an end to any conversation. Apparently, Erica informed Charlie's parents that a big contributor had stopped providing assistance because of them, as shown by a screenshot that was obtained and circulated in a secret Reddit community known as the Kirk Files. She said their participation had resulted in a significant financial loss and blamed them for tarnishing Charlie's image. However, the portion that caused the internet to combust is this. That donor did not exist, according to many sources today. The whole thing was made up. As far as anybody could tell, Joe Rogan was the only one who knew the truth. In an off-the-record chat with a mutual acquaintance, Joe apparently learned the truth. Everything he had seen, including emails, voice notes, and texts, ran counter to Erica's assertion. He couldn't help himself, being Joe. Unintentionally bringing up Erica by name, he was talking about manipulation and how some individuals use pity as a weapon during a recent podcast. As soon as it occurred, the change was audible across the room. In the midst of his statement, his co-host faltered. Joe became more serious. Then he shouted the phrase that set the internet ablaze. Even though Erica knows better, she lied to Charlie's parents. A torrent of anger was let loose by just that one phrase. Every station was rocked by that one cue. Videos from the show went viral within hours. With over 1 million postings in just one night, the term Joe Rogan calls out Erica Kirk's lies erupted throughout. Ex-prominent political analysts, journalists, and critics began to analyze his statements. I don't understand. The problem may have been cost-related. Did power have a role? Everyone demanded answers, but no one had any. Was it an intimate matter? The time was the most unpredictable aspect. A few days before, Erica had shared a heartfelt message about protecting your loved ones from deceit and sticking up for what is true. Suddenly, the post became known as the year's largest paradox. Joe remained silent throughout. According to those in the know, however, he was fuming behind the scenes as he saw the situation go in a direction he had never imagined. Joe was allegedly heard adding, "I did not mean to blow that up, but it is out now." An anonymous Spotify producer went so far as to declare that people need to know who is lying. Panic swept over the Kirk world on the inside. No one from Charlie's squad spoke out. Previous episodes that included Erica were removed by other conservative podcasts. Word on the street was that she had been pleading with hosts in private messages to maintain objectivity. However, the time was past. Online screenshots of direct messages and purported audio recordings started to circulate, with some alleging they revealed Erica's true motivation for lying. The design seemed to be harmful. The use of emotional appeals, partial truths, and efforts to dictate the storyline. Joe even had a schism in his fan following. His detractors said he overstepped his bounds and ought to have been silent. Some thought he had dug out something long buried, and now he had. A remark on Reddit went viral, and that was the response of the internet. Joe didn't give this a go. It was Erica. Just when she thought her fib would never make it to his microphone, it did. What she stated was not the main concern, however. That was her point in making that statement. Because this is too important to conceal from Charlie's parents. What was it that she was attempting to protect? Wondering what she was attempting to conceal. One fact was getting harder to deny as other insiders came out. What she said was more than just a miscommunication. The family may have broken down after the match. An even larger bomb may have been detonated by Joe's unintentional disclosure. Simply said, this wasn't a fabrication if the rumors were to be believed. It was an argument for dominance, a struggle for dominance, a clandestine conflict involving a family enterprise that started to crumble prior to Joe ever bringing Erica's name up. Even more so, this was only the start, said an unidentified former employee of Turning Point. Joe was the one who opened the door. His gaffe will seem minor in comparison to what is about to happen. The web anxiously awaited the next move. There was no sound from the Kirks. Joe did not say a word. The same question remained unanswered for millions. Regarding Charlie's parents, what precisely did Erica say to them? What was the reality that she was vehemently attempting to conceal? The night subsequent to Joe's show airing, the actual storm hit. A period of complete quiet followed what had started as an informal section discussing honesty. There was a hesitant giggle from Joe's co-host before the words, "Wait, what?" came out. Joe said nothing. As he lowered his gaze to the ground, he shifted the conversation's focus. However, those few moments were sufficient. Hashtags such as Erica Liegate and Rogan Exposes Kirk were plastered all over social media by morning. Every minute change in Joe's countenance, from pauses to blinks, was carefully studied by influencers. He is keeping back the truth from her, according to one popular TikTok, because he knows it would ruin her. Afterwards, the first breach became apparent. What Erica told Charlie's parents versus what actually occurred was the subject of a thread posted about 3 a.m. by an anonymous Reddit member known as TruthHound87. Supposedly involving Erica, Charlie's parents, and a person named JR. It included screenshots, voice notes, text conversations, and even broken emails. Everyone thought Joe Rogan was what it meant. Erica told Charlie's mother that the donor pulled out because of you, because they were afraid of handling internal family strife, according to one screenshot. Then, Charlie's credibility is gone if we don't act now, she said. His safety is my priority. A tech investor called Grant Ellison congratulated the Kirks and affirmed that there were no concerns, according to another screenshot reportedly from the donor. It was a really explosive paradox. The power dynamic was shifted whether Erica had fabricated the narrative and placed the blame on Charlie's parents, if it was true. At first, doubters said it was all an elaborate hoax. However, a journalist from the Daily Wire confirmed within hours that they had validated metadata from a communication or two. Everything shifted after that. Gestural channels, political analysts, and YouTubers all descended at once. Many millions of views were amassed by videos captioned "Joe Rogan unintentionally reveals Erica Kirk's deceit." Betraying and deceit suddenly surfaced next to Erica's formerly pristine public persona. And she remained silent as well. There is no post, none of that. I don't understand. Her quiet contributed to an uncontrollable conflagration. The situation became much more dire behind the scenes. Someone close to Erica's inner circle allegedly shared a text message. The implication was that Joe is confused about his actions. Everything is being ruined by him. It was also said that Erica sobbed and said, "I'm finished if they believe Joe over me," in another audio tape. Suddenly, a huge turn of events occurred. Joe is not revealing the full truth, an anonymous ex-user said in a thread, just as the internet had already concluded she was guilty. He omitted a significant detail. Someone on Joe's production crew supposedly started the topic. They say that Joe kept quiet about Erica's lies since the motivation was sinister and had nothing to do with power or wealth. The story was that it had to do with an undisclosed family matter, which Erica was afraid would permanently tarnish Charlie's reputation. Joe, according to the article, knew everything but hid it. Panic sprang out immediately. Erica would fabricate a whole fib to protect Charlie from whatever it was that may be so harmful. Consider the money. Was it an intimate matter? Did it follow the law? Conjectures multiplied. Some others said a secret litigation was going on. Someone else mentioned an internal turning point explosion in hushed tones. There was immediate dispute among podcasters. One presenter said that Joe withheld his opinion because the matter was beyond what he could discuss on television. According to someone else, Rogan warned us and did not slide. Claims of leakage within Turning Point also began to surface. According to one unnamed source, Erica freaked out and blamed the parents when an internal audit found something worrying. People are very scared that Joe may speak out again, according to another. The situation had escalated beyond the scope of a mere internet controversy. It became viral in the media. The story was covered extensively by mainstream media, while conservative networks chose to ignore it. The Real Truth, Rogan vs. Kirk, was the title under which Joe's footage premiered on CNN. Unexpectedly, Charlie's sister Laya entered the story at the beginning of this new chapter. In an Instagram story, she said truth always finds its way out, even if she often avoids public speaking. The internet went into a tailspin with just one statement. She seemed to be reinforcing the falsehood. Was she on Joe's side? Screenshots were already all over the place before the post disappeared minutes later. Later on, the audio leak became public. Erica is said to be seen sobbing in a 30-second video clip that has been discovered. "I didn't intend to lie to them," she said on the tape, "but I didn't want them to think that of him. That was the turning point." Somehow, Erica stopped coming across as manipulating. She seemed scared. She seemed too cautious. And then the question that no one had ever thought to ask surfaced on the internet. In what way was she attempting to shield Charlie from danger? According to reports, Joe's podcast staff made an effort to scrub off the portion of the tape in which he addressed Erica's lie a few hours after the emotional audio appeared on every platform. The episode was completely removed from Spotify for a certain period of time. The speculation was fueled further by that. The question of whether someone had intervened to censor the article started circulating. Were the Kirks involved? Could it have been Spotify? Were these mandates from up high? Unfortunately, by the time the episode returned, the harm had already been done. Something had become of the quote. Because of TikTok, it became a sound that became viral. It was examined word by word in the conversations on Twitter. There was a never-ending discussion about it on YouTube. The fire was raging out of control and was destroying everything. The second significant blow arrived at that moment. An anonymous note was posted under a video that went viral, and it was left by a person who was a confirmed friend of Joe and who had featured on his program several times. Half of it is unknown to you. Although Joe avoided using her name, he now had evidence. Everything changed after that statement, concrete evidence. It wasn't a matter of carelessness that Joe had proof and was purposefully withholding it was implied by this. People started clamoring for what they dubbed the Rogan receipts out of nowhere. Countdowns were established by the designers of TikTok. Investigative journalists sought for inconsistencies in Erica's interviews. At the same time that smiling emojis and captions were resurfacing, an old video footage from 2021 in which she said that honesty is the core of all I do was also resurfacing. What a sick irony. A rift sprang up in the public's perception of the Kirk family. Someone was trying to gauge Joe's credibility. And there was one thing that brought the internet together. The facts have to be revealed. However, things became much more heated when a source spoke to Pop Culture Alert and made a terrifying revelation. No one can deny that the reality is much worse. Careers will come to an end when it drops. A tremor went across every station as a result of the warning. Given the gravity of the situation, Joe's unintentional disclosure may be seen as insignificant compared to the larger picture. The whole internet became a huge inquiry board with red thread running in all directions on the third day. One fundamental question became the obsession of every YouTuber, podcaster, and gossip account. Even Charlie's parents didn't know what Erica was trying to hide. And what exactly was Joe aware of? A single statement had become a full-scale media storm, and it all began with a single sentence. Something out of the ordinary was detected for the very first time. Joe, too, seemed frightened. Outside of Joe's Austin studio, a supporter shot a hazy video. Someone started shouting a question about Erica as Joe was getting out of his SUV. Just 8 words were enough for Joe's response. All I stated was true, and more is true than that. 10 million views were achieved by the footage in only half a day. It was dubbed the Rogan warning by the public. After then, there was complete quiet, as a result of something far more significant falling. A video named The Erica Files, What Joe Rogan Could Not Say, was posted to X by an account known as Insider Vault HQ at precisely 2:11 p.m., and it lasted for a total of 12 minutes. Among the most damning revelations was an email purportedly sent to him by Jill's producer, as well as leaked audio and internal documents. We need to discuss about the Erica tale before the next show, according to the topic line. There was a private legal action that was being taken, and the producer allegedly urged Joe in the email to avoid discussing the Kirk problem on air. What was even more unexpected, however, was the accompanying paper, the purportedly Erica to an affiliate voicemail transcript. She threatened to accuse the family of manipulating them if word got out. I never meant for my lies to cause harm. All I had to do was keep them from learning what had happened to Charlie the year before. All throughout the internet, that one line went off. So what took place the previous year? What did she want Charlie's parents to know? An additional twist was provided hours later by a source who spoke with The Hollywood Reporter. As part of a bigger attempt to conceal a personal incident involving Charlie, which his parents had threatened to reveal unless it was handled with internally, they said that Erica's deception was a part of another larger effort. For the sake of protecting Charlie from anything that may damage his reputation in the public eye, Erica allegedly fabricated the donor tale in order to transfer responsibility onto them. The tone shifted dramatically due to the discovery. It was discovered that clips from the events of Turning Point had been resurfaced, depicting instances in which Charlie seemed anxious or worried. Viewers of Joe's TikTok video juxtaposed his solemn demeanor with archived footage of Charlie talking about treachery. Every hour the story became darker. There were hints of something bigger even from Joe's buddies. On Instagram, comedian Tim Dillon said, "You believe this to be a lie?" Put on a mask. It was already too late when he quickly erased it. A plethora of screenshots appeared. Afterwards, yet another purported leak surfaced. Keeping family issues and internet rumors out of the office is the message of an
internal memo at Turning Point USA. Do not send it since it was marked as urgent. Someone forwarded it, of course, but it was page 6 that delivered the shocking moment that rocked the internet. The representatives of Erica submitted a cease and desist letter to Joe's legal team, according to the journalist, asking that he deny speaking about Erica and withdraw his remark from episode 2135. Joe flipped it on its head. "If you write me a stop and desist, I presume I am coming near to the truth," he said at the beginning of his next program. An uneasy chuckle escaped the studio. Joe remained silent. The camera was the only focus of his attention. Once again, hashtags went boom when the footage became viral. However, the tempest continued to intensify. A video that would alter everything was published late one night by a little Rumble channel with only 2,000 members. The Erica Lie Complete Context Recording was the name of it. Secretly recorded audio at a private charity banquet seems to be included therein. A buddy was spoken to by a trembling Erica in it. "They have no idea what I was trying to safeguard," she added. "No amount of forgiving Charlie could ever let them forget what transpired in that meeting. I had to divert their attention elsewhere. Something went wrong and the internet went dark. Each and every platform froze. What kind of meeting? I don't know what Charlie did." When asked why she thought his parents would never forgive him, Erica said it was because they would know. Out of nowhere, Erica became less villainous. It seemed as if she were urgently attempting to protect her spouse from something terrible. Reporters began to wonder whether her deceit was more of a display of devotion than manipulation. A post on Reddit became viral with the user reading, "Because of her desire to keep Charlie safe, she lied." Despite not understanding why, Joe revealed the falsehood. Indeed, it is the tragic truth. However, this fresh emotional perspective was short-lived. Because again, another leak broke everything to pieces. 2 days later, the very same Rumble channel, which has now been rebranded as Truth Loop, distributed a second file. The text messages that are said to have been exchanged between Erica and Charlie's father are transcribed here. I was blown away by the messages. Unless he believed her account of events, Erica seemed to be threatening to reveal what had transpired. You believe you are safeguarding him, but that is not the case. It all falls apart if they find out what he said in that meeting. In order to save him and you, I made up the donor tale according to another message. Stay away from me. The internet went through a crisis. Once again, the story turned. The role of Erica as a nurturing wife has faded. It seems like she was now using truth manipulation to maintain power. The mystery that had everyone on edge had a straightforward explanation: the events surrounding the gathering. All around, theories detonated. Claims of political repercussions from the conference were made by some. Thoughts of money were advanced by others. Some thought it was an intimate matter. In reality, however, no one knew, and the flames were kindled by each unresolved mystery. The media joined the panic. It was the most bizarre meeting of podcast culture and political notoriety that anybody had ever seen, according to Variety. Joe Rogan versus the Kirks. The internet-shattering lie was the title of TMZ's coverage. Speculation became a battleground on Twitter. People who stood with Joe said he was honest. His detractors said he exploited a family as a prop to make a point. No one was immune to the division, not even Joe. In a tweet, Lex Fridman, there is a price to pay for honesty, and sometimes it is the wrong home that is burned. That Joe's direct approach may have had unintended consequences was seen by many as a subtle dig at him. However, Elon Musk interjected with a mysterious reply. A destroyed home is better than a building founded on falsehoods. Across the platform, that one cue went off. The podcast Civil War was the moniker given by fans. A number of prominent figures openly took sides. However, the data did not lie, despite the fact that conservative media outlets attempted to minimize the mayhem. Whenever Erica's name was mentioned, the ratings would go up. Talk shows analyzed the problem. What Erica was, a manipulator or a martyr, was a topic of dispute among the hosts. Pieces of Joe's statement, knowing full well that her untruthful statement became a viral sound clip, she lied to them. The makers of TikTok acted it out. Entire plots were based on it on reaction channels. However, the internet wasn't the only one who responded. The influence extended to the entertainment sector as well. Executives at Spotify reportedly were concerned about possible legal ramifications. Allegedly, internal communications acknowledged the prospect of political reaction and defamation ramifications, according to a Reddit.
Disclosure. Supposedly, one memo read, "We encourage creative expression, but we must take precautions to reduce danger." Check episode 2135 for any violations. Speculation began to circulate that Spotify was considering permanently removing the episode. Supporters retaliated. Thousands of people threatened to cancel their subscriptions if any censoring occurred, leading to the hashtag #HasOffRogan to trend. Next, something that was even more surprising occurred. In a piece that went viral instantaneously, The View started talking about the problem. "This isn't about politics anymore," one presenter said. "This is about the power of a single truthful statement to ruin a whole reputation." There was a gasp from the crowd. If Joe went too far, or if Erica was trying to influence public opinion by remaining silent, the panel debated the matter. An emotional guest co-host broke down throughout the show, claiming to be close to Charlie's parents. "Family is falling apart," she said, "and nobody's talking to anybody anymore." Everything was different after that one statement. It became clear that the crisis was about more than simply internet mayhem. Behind the scenes, real relationships were falling apart. News of the breakdown of communication inside the Kirk family was eventually revealed by an insider to the New York Post. As a result of Joe, the parents, and even Charlie's refusal to support her in public, they stated that Erica felt as if she had been betrayed by everyone. Another internet frenzy was sparked by that line, even Charlie himself. Distant observers began to pick up on an unusual trend. For over 2 weeks, Charlie had made no reference to Erica at all. Not even during turning point addresses, not at public gatherings, and not during interviews. In order to analyze his tone and posture, clip experts slowed down the footage. There was proof with every exhalation. With each silence, conjecture ensued. Perhaps he was trying to shield her from the subject by ignoring it. Conversely, he may separate himself in order to safeguard himself. Not a single person was aware. One item, however, stood out. Silence spoke louder than words ever could from Erica. Her Instagram, which she had previously used to publish self-assured family portraits and other professional images, was deserted. Out of nowhere, a number of entries disappeared. Few people commented on earlier blogs.
She also unfollowed Joe's wife Jessica and a number of other common acquaintances, which is even odd. TikTok went into a tailspin after that one observation. Many saw it as evidence that the dispute had escalated beyond podcasting. A really intimate event was transpiring. The intensity of Joe's social media activity increased, with the remark, "They will call you the villain when you expose the pack." He shared a picture of a lone wolf standing in the snow. Many of Erica's admirers took offense and flocked to the comments section to express their disapproval. Many have lauded Joe for daring to reveal the truth, even when others avoid doing so. Another sprayed him with words, "For clicks, he wrecked a woman's life." Others from the A-list began to weigh in as well. On Twitter, Meghan McCain wrote, "Someone must be hiding something if Joe Rogan is someone you're afraid of." Taylor Lorenz, a journalist, retaliated once again. "Joe is navigating the role of judge and jury. This is exploitative, not truthful." A diagram was being created. There was partisanship among influencers. It had shifted from being about a single falsehood to a whole discourse. A cultural conflict was coming to a head. The subsequent emotional turn of events then emerged. Amanda Halley, a podcaster and influencer who is friends with Erica, broke down in tears while going live on Instagram. According to her, Erica isn't dishonest. She's just damaged. You would be in tears as well if you understood the true purpose of her narrative, which she spilt out to me. A portion of her webcast was captured and shared globally. Even when viewers pleaded with her, she would not explain. Her only explanatory statement was that her deceit would become clear after you learn Charlie's secret. Once again, that single statement drew in sympathies. Suddenly, many began to question if Erica's deception was not an act of manipulation, but perhaps desperation. The question was whether she was trying to shield Charlie from harm. However, the internet broke down once again before anybody could become comfortable with that hypothesis. It was purportedly a tech insider who had access to Erica's iCloud, and another leak had been leaked. Erica and someone identified as MM were seen chatting in the leaked screenshots. A shiver ran down my spine. Erica penned disclosure of the truth will result in their inability to forgive me. The tale of the donor was repeated by me. I was left with no choice. MM provided a response. "You are never stuck. You can always do something else. Lying takes less time to."
Construct but more effort to dismantle. Just days before Joe's episode aired, the timestamps were quite recent. It was as if Erica persisted in delivering the same false narrative while the internet falsely accused her of being dishonest, if the claims were true. In an instant, public opinion turned around. She was accused by her fans of being hypocritical. Analysis films labeled Erica's redemption or manipulation were published on YouTube. Every single screenshot sparked an argument on reaction channels. Within hours, she went from being well-liked to very divisive on the internet. After then, Joe doused the flames with petrol. If she refuses to speak, he said in his next episode, it would be all right. Hey, I'll be her advocate. Everything else can be taken care of via the internet. The ripple effect of the sentence was felt throughout all social media platforms. He was accused of psychological pressure by his detractors. According to his followers, he was imposing responsibility. A public arena suddenly seemed like a goal for Erica, who had been quiet for weeks. Nevertheless, a surprising turn of events ensued. A change occurred. Significantly, it moved. The trending hashtag shifted all of a sudden. The hashtag Justice for Erica became viral throughout the globe. Joe allegedly launched the largest slander campaign in podcast history, according to several online posters. The question of whether Erica was really lying or if she had been set up from the beginning was raised by a large number of individuals for the very first time. As a result, the long-awaited moment came to a close. The members of Erica's squad finally spoke out. People magazine was provided with a concise statement. According to Erica, over the course of many weeks, I maintained my silence while others spread falsehoods about me. My belief has now grown that this was deliberate. Someone has targeted me, but I shall reply quickly. They caused a ruckus on the internet. Targeted. Get back to me as soon as possible. She had no intention of leaving. Her defenses were drawn up. What it implied was obvious to everyone. It would be more than a denial from Erica. Her plan to expose was coming together. It was soon reported that she had her own recordings, which led to the proliferation of rumors. Pictures taken using her own device. It was her own personal video clip. Plus, Joe's crew had some talks they weren't expecting to have till daybreak. According to an insider, Erica has proof that with just a single drop may destroy careers. Out of nowhere, attention on the internet changed. The hunting role has shifted from Joe. The one being pursued was him. The whole incident reportedly prompted Spotify to conduct an internal probe.
Rumor has it that the producers may have strayed from convention with some of their choices about the program. Normally, Joe's co-hosts were silent. Tweets from his close pals on the issue were stopped. A few of postings on the Erica problem were even removed by Brendan Schaub. As if it weren't enough, the unexpected happened. Truth Lens, a little YouTube channel, became viral after broadcasting a live webcast. The feed was interrupted for 20 seconds by a person going by the name of Erica Backup, who planned to make a comment soon. Unmistakable, albeit blurry, was the video. There were only 4 words said by her as she sat in the dark, her face pallid but unwavering. It was all his doing. Suddenly, the video cut out. It seems like the internet has lost its mind. Everything turned upside down the second those 4 words appeared online. Discourse broke out in the comment sections. The timelines ground to a halt. On every stage, you could hear a gasp from the audience. The whole tale would have to change focus from a deception or cover-up to Erica's claims that Joe set her up. Something more sinister had emerged, a calculated thing, something deliberate. There was an immediate explosion of theories. There were many who claimed that Joe had engineered the drama in order to get views. Some said that Joe and Erica were now turning against one another in order to defend themselves, since they were both concealing a secret so explosive. An increasing number of commentators proposed an even more disturbing idea. It was a shared secret, concealed under layers of false information that bound Joe and Erica. Something that neither party wanted the general public to know. Like wildfire, Reddit forums erupted. In search of hints, users combed through Joe's archived episodes, photographs, guest lists, contribution data, and even timestamps. Members of Joe's inner circle allegedly have long-standing relationships to Turning Point funders, according to several postings. An online conspiracy idea put Erica in the position of scapegoat when a deal broke down behind the scenes. According to another, Joe exposed her in order to divert attention away from a more serious problem with his own squad. The guessing game never ended.
In preparation for Joe's upcoming podcast appearance, fans even started analyzing his body language. A visitor made a joke on the drama that the internet loves in one little clip. It was different from Joe's normal, self-assured laughter. Her gaze drooped. He clenched his fists. Instantly, viewers noticed. Take a look at him for a second. Laughter escapes him. Anxiety grips him. Perhaps he was. A now-deleted 4chan post claimed that Erica had already planned a last drop. Someone who claimed to be her assistant sent the message. Truth is time-stamped, it read. Friday at 11:59 p.m., internet users all across the world saw the message immediately. Live streams, including countdown clocks, surfaced in a matter of minutes. Was Joe going to be exposed if she did? Live streamers speculated on Erica's announcement. Did she provide any evidence of the plot that she had alluded at? Alternately, she may disclose a more significant matter about Charlie's parents. Not a single person was aware. Everyone, however, was staring. A supernatural event followed. All of Erica's internet activity disappeared the night before to the scheduled drop. All of the accounts vanished. Instagram is now down. Twitter disappeared. Her webpage removed. Even odd, her husband Charlie put a statement on the internet that did not make any sense. Certain tales are just too perilous to be true. May all parties concerned be remembered in your prayers. Minutes later, he erased it, but screenshots were all over the place. The internet was rocked by just one phrase. Tell me which tale was too risky, and risky for whom? The assumption became even wilder as many attempted to decipher it. Lots of people thought Erica was muzzled. Someone else thought she was getting ready to go on strike. According to rumors, her legal teams coerced her into taking her down. Or maybe she chose to vanish in order to evade a more serious threat. There was a subtle fear on the internet. Everything came to a standstill at that point, no center to the storm, an explosion-free countdown. Truce that seemed about to break but never came, left millions of people hanging. Then more fundamental inquiries arose. Is it true that Joe divulged Erica's identity? Maybe he was covering up something more serious with her. To protect Charlie? Did Erica tell a lie? Alternatively, she could have been plotting her vengeance the whole time she was doing it. Above all else, who was really in charge of the storyline if this whole incident was premeditated? The situation became much more disturbing when a scary message was posted on Reddit by an insider. "This is not ending," was the message. The next week we'll see the release of the next episode. The conversation that Erica attempted to conceal is the title. A fresh wave of fear was unleashed by that one phrase. For an episode with that title to be released by Joe, what did he have? The sound. Texts that are relevant. The messages, however. I wonder whether Erica will ever respond out loud.
Unfortunately, this became quite evident. The mayhem was only growing in volume. The situation is much more perplexing, even more knotted. Everyone was using the truth as a weapon, each with their own twist. Insisting that he was being truthful, Joe said. Erica said that she had been staged. Nobody saw Charlie's parents anymore. It seemed like even Charlie was caught in a maelstrom that he couldn't escape. Also, nobody was prepared to address the internet's questions, so it became mired in the middle. With each new leak, video, and enigmatic message, the mystery deepened. There was deceit. Someone was being deceitful. Someone was going to come to light too. But there was a straightforward question that everyone was pondering. In the event that Joe did all of this on purpose, why? Had this been some nefarious plot to expose corruption? Maybe he was trying to hide a deeper truth behind all that mayhem. Or maybe it was just a diversion. Now let's talk about Erica, chesitating as a weapon. Alternatively, a protected area. Were the disclosures she made deliberate? Alternatively, survival-related behaviors. Consider the arrangement. At the precise time sensitive papers came to light, timely appearances of anonymous accounts were observed. Just as the countdown began, Erica vanished without a trace. I felt like I had to plan every step. There was order here. Chess was the game, every move had been well planned. The world was about to see the next move since it was the last thing that remained. Did Joe, the mastermind, attempt to steer the narrative? Or was Erica the strategist constructing a narrative that manipulated the internet into turning against him? Something huge was being hidden by Charlie's family. Something they had all decided to ignore. Perhaps we still don't have all the answers. It was clear, nevertheless, of one thing. It was inevitable that the internet will explode once again, either when the next episode was released or when Erica reappeared. This was
Only the beginning. Absolutely not. Here we are, on the brink of a narrative that every time the internet believes it has discovered the truth, continues to twist. They have no idea who to believe. Nobody can tell who is lying. And at this point, it is completely unclear whose account is the most accurate. According to Joe Rogan, he only spoke the facts as he understood it. It was a setup, according to Erica Kirk. No longer are Charlie's parents mentioned at all. As the online community struggles to make sense of a narrative that is constantly changing like smoke, it finds itself smack dab in the center of a digital battleground. However, this is the most important question. Find out who's really in charge. Was Joe directing the story to make an impression and reach a wide audience? Another possibility is that Erica was manipulating events to gain sympathy and place the blame elsewhere. Was anything buried by Charlie's family that no one had anticipated? Something that, regardless of the consequences, they had all decided to keep secret. Observe the arrangement. Substantial decreases in anonymity, spied paperwork, statements with time constraints, a vanishing internet profile, a mysterious timer. The meticulous planning is evident in every aspect. There is order here. It is a technique. A lengthy game is being played by someone. I'm eager to get your response for that reason. Take a guess at who you believe is being truthful. Identify the liar. Determine who is safeguarding whom, and whose identity is concealed by the din. Post your hypotheses in the comment section immediately. Please share with me the one thing you feel that was overlooked, because there is still more to this narrative, and your interpretation may be the one that reveals the next chapter. Oh, and keep in mind something crucial. The predicted truth dump on Friday could not have occurred yet. Perhaps it hasn't arrived yet. Should the enigmatic Erica backup account come back with her whole version of events, we will publish every last detail of the situation right here. A secret message in every leak, clip, and document. Nothing will escape our notice. So, like the post to keep up with the next twist. Do yourself a favor and enable alerts. The internet has the potential to explode in the blink of an eye the moment Joe returns to the mic or Erica activates her account. Truth isn't only a fact in this narrative, a weapon it is. By the way, the